Huh? Kaboom.
This is a crazy rabbit hole, but I think it's funny. It's called howtorentahitman.com. Fooled people into jail. Talk about getting baited.
Rentahitman.com.
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 I'm the webmaster of rentahitman.com.
Imagine bragging about that, like, outside. Not to brag or anything, but,
We're on a website to hire a hitman.
This website is nothing more than a parody, but it did put a bunch of people behind bars. And the question is, how? Before we get started, I just wanted to shout out Wavy Web Surf because his video is what inspired this one. Our first customer. Years ago in 2010, Bob Inez, the owner of rentahitman.com, stumbled
Yeah, we need this as a Google ad. Yeah, we need to get some ad space for this one.
upon an odd request in his email from a stranger. The person in question was a British woman named Helen, who was located in Canada, stranded without her passport. Although she was stuck in a
Whoever said, you guys are like, oh man, how common sense isn't so common, you have to have low brain cells. You guys are assuming that criminals are automatically smart. Not to say they're all dumb, but ain't nobody said they were all smart. Hold on.
foreign country with no way to get back home, she didn't ask for help because she had a different goal in mind. She wanted her family members back home out of the picture, gone. Helen found the website rentahitman.com and took the URL for what it was. Her request? She wanted to rent a hitman. In her email, she requested the services of a hitman to take out 3 of her family members in the UK and claimed that her family screwed her out of her inheritance.
How do you do this over the phone? Do you call people, like, I know people that are scared to, like, call in to a pizza place and, like, have to write down what toppings they have because they're nervous to call in. And so, like, they gotta, like, hype themselves up. Meanwhile, these people are, like, knocking people off a list like they're calling Papa John's. Like, it's nothing.
And now she wanted revenge. But Bob, the owner of the site, didn't respond. He had no idea if this woman was actually serious about all this or if this was just another one of the prank emails he was so used to opening. But Helen wasn't giving up so soon. She asked again, and this time she sent Bob all of the personal information of those family members, including their full names.
Oh, this is an email. It is. I like how she persisted. She sent a second email like, per my previous email, I need you to eradicate my family. Hurry up, brother. I don't have all day.
And addresses. So Bob took this as a sign to take action. He sent her a reply back. Do you still require our assistance? We can place you in contact with a field operative. Helen thought that this was it. Her wishes were finally coming true. She was getting a field operative.
Please wait on hold. Your call is important to us. Please wait for the next member in line to speak with a member of our murdering staff.
On the job, a real trained professional. But what she didn't know was this was not a hitman. In fact, the operative on the other end of the line was the law itself. And just days later, Helen was locked up because Rent a Hitman wasn't real. It's nothing more than a spoof. And Bob didn't assign a hitman to the case, but rather the police. What is Rent a Hitman? Established in 2005, Rent a Hitman was a website meant to give people easy access to contract.
I like how professional it looks. Like, why does this look like any other website? Like, it looks so casual. We're 100% HIPAA compliant. HIPAA information, privacy, and protection. Thank goodness, I was so worried.
Assassins without having to use the dark web. With an easy to navigate website, customer testimonials, and even a careers page, it seems like Rent a Hitman has taken an unconventional business model and transformed it into a real service. But what some unsuspecting people don't know is that all the information on the website is a lie, or rather a parody. Rent a Hitman was not an actual hitman service. In fact, if you take a deeper look at the site, you can probably tell that none of this was meant to be taken seriously.
Oh my god. Rent a Hitman and they handle my disgruntled employee issue promptly.
There's several red flags on the website. There's a banner ad. It opens up a new browser window for the Internet Crime Complaint Center.
Oh my god. Oh man. Like, you know, you can't. Oh man.
that's run by the FBI.
On the front page, the site claims to be compliant with HIPAA, or Hitman Information Privacy and Protection Act of 1964, which, if you look
Mostly
it up,
positive.
is definitely not what HIPAA stands for. The real origin of the website dates back to February 5th,
When
2005.
trolling is done for the good of mankind. Am I right?
Bob Inez bought the domain for just $9.20. He and his friends were working on an IT training program.
And it was a play on words. Rent as in hire us, hit as in web hit, visitor, traffic, analytics.
The team carried out hits on the online security measures of other companies, so they
It's got puns in it. It's like the perfect dad joke of a website baked in.
decided to call themselves Hitmen, which led to the infamous Rent a Hitman. After the program was completed, Bob ended up keeping the domain in hopes of selling it in the future. But when no one wanted to buy it, Bob decided to just repurpose the site into a joke Hitman service to go with the name. He even
Nice. They're doubling down.
opened up a form on the site for people to submit their inquiries, comments, and requests. For years, Bob left the site running without ever touching it again, but people kept finding it. Most visitors
Oh my gosh, people kept searching for it. Like, listen here, man. I'm a criminal. You have to help me, okay? I've looked everywhere for someone to do this.
saw the site for what it was, and people would send
Is this false advertising? Are you not going to carry out the tasks?
blank emails to the associated email address. Others weren't as good as taking the hint and sent in real inquiries.
Oh, man. It's better that his name is Bob. Like, come on, Hitman Bob. Come on, man. Mr. Bob, answer your emails. This is urgent.
About hiring a hitman. Bob ended up receiving dozens of
I need to be incarcerated yesterday.
actual hitman requests. Some would even send in addresses, photos, and private information about the targets, desperate to find someone to get the job done. We got to a point where Bob was genuinely concerned about the well-being of some of these targets.
Yeah, like, hold up a minute. Hold up. This is not looking good. You know, this was a joke, but I don't think these people are joking around. Hold on.
Inez showed us his pages and pages of printed out emails.
This is just a lot of solicitations from people around the world.
He decided to take action and prevent anything bad from happening to these people. That's why
Yeah, talk about low-hanging fruit, man. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's... like, I can't.
started cooperating with law enforcement to ensure that anyone sending in an actual hitman request would get dealt with accordingly. He started keeping track of people's information, even sending fake emails back to them to try and help the police get one step closer to catching them. It said that the site has prevented over 150 possible hits from actually happening. Bob constantly monitors the site's associated inbox to make sure that anything that raises any red flags is immediately reported to the authorities.
I wonder if this is different than, like, To Catch a Predator, for example, because, like, they don't actually go out, right? Like, they don't have a team that goes out and talks to them. It's like they just immediately call the police at that point in time. So I feel like that's maybe why these are able to actually incarcerate people, too, because all of it's in, like, an email. And they also make the first... They engage with the website, not like somebody reaching out to them, like To Catch a Predator has, like, an actor do. Like, I wonder if that's why this, like, works more often.
Describe yourself.
Cyber Crusader.
Yeah, it's not a honey trap, exactly.
Yeah, and I'm the webmaster of rentahitman.com, your point-and-click solution.
And while most people by this point have realized that Rent a Hitman is nothing more than a gimmick, some people still try to use the site as a legitimate service.
That's hilarious, man. It's the low effort To Catch a Predator with no travel expenses. I mean, true, you know, the profits are through the roof and there's no expenses.
them being Xandra Ellis, the fake assassin. Before we talk about Xandra, I want to thank this video's sponsor, War Thunder. War Thunder is a vehicle combat MMO game with over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships, from early 20th century biplanes and armored vehicles to modern fighter jets and tanks. This game is super immersive with lifelike graphics and sound effects. So War Thunder has a sophisticated damage model. Every vehicle is modeled down to its individual components, from the engine, fuel tank, to its weapons. If your vehicle or an enemy is destroyed, the X-ray view reveals exactly where the shell hit and which parts were damaged, which is one.
Yes, I see a man sitting. Ah, yes.
of the things that sets this game apart. Something I really like about this game is the in-depth customization. They have a ton of camouflage, historical markings, and decorations for all vehicles, even ones created by the community. So I absolutely hate when games are super laggy, even with a good computer. But thankfully, this game is also heavily optimized to give you a lag-free experience.
Guys, can you customize your tank fully? Could you guys put like a... You know how we have like a custom Rosiebellmoo car skin that somebody made in a game? I gotta know if we could have a custom Rosiebellmoo tank.
Even on lower end machines. There are over 70 million players that you can PvP, and if you like military history, this game is for you. Play War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox now by using my link in the pinned comment or description. New and returning players that haven't played in 6 months across all platforms get a massive bonus pack that includes the Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium account only for a limited time. On June 30th, 2018, Bob received a service
Anyways, that was a great spot, sir, right in the middle.
request from a woman named Jasmine Brown. In her message, Jasmine requested the help of a hitman to get rid of a woman whom she named BH. In the request, she also attached BH's personal information and social media handles to help aid the mission. Although the name on the form was Jasmine Brown, Bob was quick to realize that this name was nothing more than a cover-up name. That's because the email address and phone number used were associated with someone with a completely different profile, someone named Xandra Ellis. In her request, Xandra, aka Jasmine Brown, claimed that BH had been trying to harm her, so she wanted to catch her blindsided by striking first, which is why she wanted to enlist the help of a professional.
So she gave the information of someone, but it was a whole different person? What the?
That could get rid of BH once and for all. Realizing that Xandra had every intent to go through with this, Bob took on a fake name himself and got into character. Pretending to be a hitman named B.I., Bob replied to her message. First,
oh man, I wonder if like he got employed to do this then. I'm guessing, since I'm guessing this ended up working.
he asked the woman why she called herself Jasmine Brown, since the email that she used was connected to the name Xandra Ellis. Xandra was prepared for this question. She told Bob that the email that she was using was a fake name to protect her real identity. While Bob didn't believe this, he played along.
He's just like, I am Batman. Don't tell anyone, but I am Batman.
He handed the reins over to the FBI, who assigned an agent to go undercover and catch Xandra red-handed. The FBI agent took on the role of Ace, a fake hitman at the Rent-A-Hitman service. He then contacted Xandra via text message asking if she was still interested in the services she had requested online. Almost immediately, she replied. Xandra,
like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm still aiming to be incarcerated for crime that I plan on committing fully, absolutely, and written in email and text form, so I can't get out of this later, yes?
was definitely still interested, but the only issue with her was the price. The FBI agent posing as Ace informed her that it would be $1,000 for the job, with a $100 upfront payment to seal the deal. This was something she could do, and she even negotiated with
Oh, man.
the FBI agent Ace to pay the
I was gonna say only $1,000. Yeah, oh, I don't even know how to say this. What a bargain! Oh my god.
rest in $250 installments over the next.
She can't even do that much. She's like, if I have a payment plan, I'll be able to pay it off. Oh my god.
Few weeks. The two set a meeting time at a local Waffle House in New Orleans for Xandra to give the down payment. But while Xandra was over the moon that she was finally going to get rid of BH, the victim, what she didn't know was she would end up walking right into her own downfall. A few days later, on July 6th, 2018, Xandra arrived at the Waffle House with an unexpected guest. Xandra had brought her own kid to a meeting with a
oh my god! Why did you bring your kid? Well, hopefully the kid's safe now. Actually, maybe this was a smart act of stupidity, because now you made it so, like, they know there's a kid involved so that they can get the kid out of the situation.
supposed hitman. She spotted Ace sitting in a booth at the restaurant, and she sat down next to him, ready to hand off the cash.
Bring your kid to Merc Day, please.
Ace came prepared. Without Xandra knowing, he stashed a recording device on him and picked up their entire
Even in the game Hitman, he gets more than 1K. Oh, man.
conversation to collect it as evidence. During the conversation, the FBI agent was quickly able to find out Xandra's motivations for the job. Turns out that both BH and Xandra had kids with the same guy. This already tense relationship got even worse after the two started an intense feud on social media,
Oh,
which caused
boy.
Xandra's hatred for the woman
Are they on Facebook? Oh, no.
to get so strong that she wanted to
They
hide
play Farmville together? Who was winning at Farmville? Who is winning in Bejeweled?
hire a contract assassin. Xandra claimed that the other woman, BH, had been making threats against her and her unborn child, and that by doing this, she was going to keep her family safe. This
Oh my
led to the
God.
FBI agent asking if she had anything else to protect herself with, to which Xandra replied, always strapped. This, of course, was also captured in the recording. It didn't take long for the agent to gather enough evidence to put Xandra
W.
behind bars. And when he had finally heard enough, he began the arrest. He cuffed Xandra to the table just moments before she was about to leave the Waffle House.
Oh,
But while
man. Arrested at the Waffle House, brother. We got her, boys. We got her. She's down at the Waffle House. Booked them.
Xandra used the site as it was originally intended, others don't just see Rent a Hitman as a service, but rather a possible employer. I want to be a hitman. The job market can be tough, especially for those coming out of military service.
Imagine sending in your resume. Is this what happened? I'm gonna laugh so hard. Like, I go to the gym every day and I can bench press, 120 pounds. Therefore, I would be great for the hitman job listing posted out back at the Wendy's.
Then adjusting to an office job or trying
Hire
something
me,
new,
please.
this ex-Tennessee Air National Guardsman decided to pursue a job more suited to his talents, particularly his sharpshooting skills. In February 2023, Josiah Ernesto Garcia, like so many others, went on Rent a Hitman to send in an
What a
inquiry.
title.
Rather than
Do you
asking
guys think that's his real name, or do you guys think that's his, like, gamer tag?
for the usual services, he did something that no one had done on the site before.
According to the criminal complaint, in early February, Garcia submitted a resume and identification documents saying he was, quote, an expert marksman and earned the
The
nickname
Reaper. I am the Reaper.
Reaper.
Instead of wanting to hire a hitman, he wanted to be hired as one instead. After leaving the military, Josiah was in desperate need of money since his family was struggling. He and his partner were about to become parents, and they needed extra cash to support the child. Josiah
Bro,
thought
you can go work at the Walmart. Why do we gotta be this way? Why we gotta be so edgelord about it? Oh, too many hours in Overwatch. This is what happens. No.
that becoming a hitman would be the perfect profession for him, seeing as he'd had plenty of marksmanship experience during his military days. In his inquiry, Josiah talked about his time in the Air National Guard as an airman first class, and how all that he learned could be applied to his future as a hitman. After his initial message received no reply, Josiah reached out again. This time, Bob couldn't
I really
ignore it.
like how a lot of the times they're just like, guys, hello? Hello? I'm a criminal. Is anyone there? Answer me, dang it.
I'm looking for a job that pays well related to my military experience, shooting and the marked target, so I can support my kid on the way. Adding, put me in, coach.
It was clear that Josiah had every intention of wanting
I'm real good at this, for real, for real.
to be hired, so Bob knew that he had to pass this information along to the authorities. Bob, under the guidance of the FBI, pretended to be a recruiter and messaged Josiah back. The two then went back and forth in a conversation, with Josiah incriminating himself more and more with
Oh, boy.
every reply. Josiah laid
he
it out
was
to
already incriminating himself when nobody was responding. You know what I mean?
Bob, telling him that he'd been looking into
Could you provide your COD KDR as well?
this career path for a while now, since it was good money, and he needed that support for himself and his family, especially the baby on the way. Josiah also allegedly told Bob that his rate for each hit job was $5,000. While all this was going on, the FBI was busy setting up a sting operation to catch Josiah in the act. They prepared a time, date, and place for Josiah and an undercover agent to meet up. The agent would
Nice.
pretend to be a hitman who was there to give Josiah his first ever target. The location that they ended up picking was a local park in Hendersonville, Tennessee. The FBI prepared a convincing fake target packet which contained fictitious photos, information, and 2005
Yes, as a soon-to-be parents, I want to have a job taking out other potential parents.
$500 in cash as a down payment for the gig. On the day of the meetup, both Josiah and the agent arrived at the spot on time. In the agent's hand, there was a fake target packet. The evidence they needed was now right in front of them. All they had to do was wait for Josiah to take the package and confirm his intent to harm the person shown in the photos. As expected, Josiah took the packet.
Yeah.
Allegedly, he even
I was
asked
gonna say, he's already dug himself a hole, so now he's gonna dig himself all the way to the Earth's core, okay?
if he needed to provide a photo after the fact to prove that the job was done. But before he could even get an answer to his question, the police were already on the scene, putting him under arrest. After this encounter, the police then searched his house for further evidence. There, they found a firearm that he was going to be using to complete the job. This, combined with him being caught in the act, gave police enough evidence to lock Josiah up for 10 years if convicted. But while Josiah got himself arrested for trying to support his family, this next case is the complete opposite, because this man hated his mother-in-law so much that it landed him in prison. The mother-in-law dispute. In
I
April,
like how, like, I gotta say, I really love that just an AOE net was cast, and they didn't even have to, like, advertise this in any way, right? Like, they didn't even try to make the website popular in the first place. It was like, people just kept coming to the website, even though it was, like, buried. And so they're like, well, might as well lock them up since they're trying so hard.
of 2022, Leif Everett Heyman took the issues he had with his girlfriend's mother to extreme lengths by attempting to hire a hitman on her. According to Bob Inez, the man had made multiple requests on the website, sending in his mother-in-law's private information several times to try and get the job done.
Man, see, like, a lot of times they also had to, like, spam the email. Like, come on, man. I'm a bad person. Notice me. Notice me, police senpai.
Initial request, he had written this: I want her gone now. Too much I don't like about her. She's controlling my wife. But after this and a couple of other requests went ignored, Leif started to get impatient, and he made that very clear in his follow-up emails. On April 28th, 2022, he sent a message to Bob's inbox complaining about how no one's reached out to him to conduct the job.
He's being a Karen. He's like, listen here.
You people are fake. I can't wait anymore. I'm doing it myself.
Oh. Well, at least they have incriminating information.
After Bob read that disturbing message, Bob knew he had to do something. Leif had claimed that he would do the job himself, and if he did, there was no way for Bob to track that anymore. The life of Leif's mother-in-law was essentially in his hands, so he did what he did best. He passed the messages on to the authorities and oversaw an undercover mission to get Leif caught. All of Leif's information was sent, and in May of 2022, the sting operation against Leif Everett Heyman began.
The undercover agent posing as the hitman contacted Heyman. The agent says that Heyman kept telling him he wanted the woman, quote, gone off the earth.
Posing as a hitman from the website, an undercover agent contacted Leif to get all the details and started gathering evidence.
I like how every single time this is just like literally just setting out, like, it's not even a honeypot. It's just like, I just enjoy how little effort this has taken them. And the original intention wasn't even to catch people this way. It was like they just kept getting caught, so they just figured, why not?
For the case. Despite reaching out multiple times for the service, Leif told the agent that he was on an extreme budget. He initially proposed a $200 fee to get the job done,
Like,
but then dropped it
They
down.
were just casually incarcerating people. It's how this started. Like, I guess since you're here, we probably should call the police and put you in jail.
To 53, saying that he couldn't get enough money from his girlfriend. A few days later, on May 11th, 2022, the undercover agent set out to meet with Leif. Instead of picking a public place like usual, the two had decided to meet in Leif's house in New Mexico.
Oh my god, did that say $53? Wow.
When the agent arrived, it made sense why.
Yeah, he's got double clearance, chat. It's a Christmas deal. It's a... Oh,
because Leif had his own secret motives
It's
that
the
he
annual
hadn't
sale.
disclosed to his hitman. Leif had been living with a state-appointed guardian and full-time caregivers, as he had intellectual disabilities that required him to have extra help at home. And when the agent arrived, tensions were high between Leif and one of his caregivers. Although the job had been initially just about Leif's mother-in-law, it took only moments for the agent to realize that Leif had other plans in mind. He had more than one enemy and definitely more than one target. Leif made it clear that he wanted the hitman to get rid of the caregiver in question, even saying that it was part of the deal. The agent, completely blindsided, didn't know how to react. Leif and his
It's like, I demand a 2-for-1 bargain.
caregiver began getting into a heated dispute. With so much of this not going to plan, the agent decided to abort the undercover mission, driving away from the scene. But still, the original goal remained. They had enough evidence to get Leif charged.
They already have enough here that they could put him behind bars, so...
So that's exactly what they did. Leif was taken into custody, and while his intellectual disabilities did raise a debate about whether or not he was fit to stand trial, he ultimately was deemed competent. He now faces a sentence of up to 10 years. While Leif used Rent-A-Hitman to get rid of his partner's mother, some people want to get rid of their actual partners.
Yeah.
The difficult divorce.
I was gonna say, most of the time, I feel like this stuff happens. It's like to family members and people close, right?
17th, 2020, a Michigan woman by the name of Wendy Wayne offered Rent-A-Hitman $5,000 to complete a job.
Wow, I think that's the most amount that this is the highest payment so far on the table.
On her ex-husband. The reason for the request? She caught her husband cheating on her with the babysitter. She wanted him to pay for what he did with his life. Wendy reportedly offered $5,000 to compensate for the hitman's travel expenses, as her ex lived in a different state, and she wanted to make sure that the hitman had enough money to ensure everything went smoothly.
Wow, she's being a really good customer service representative for the hitman.
Trooper, pretending to be a hitman, met with Wendy in a South Rockwood parking lot where she was meant to hand off a down payment. But instead of securing the job, Wendy was met with handcuffs, because it didn't take long for her to realize that the man in front of her was not a trained assassin, but rather an officer of the law. Although it might seem that Wendy's method to get revenge against her ex is pretty shocking, she's by no means the only person who used the site for this reason. This next case is...
I don't think the website actually says a number or anything. I think it's just they go in there with an offer that they think can't be refused. Like, legitimately, I don't think there's any number on there.
Similar, but instead of trying
I feel like divorces are probably the reason with the highest counts. As far as I know from my ADHD knowledge, when I've like gone through random facts on the internet and absorbed things that never were gonna benefit me in any way, the last time I remember the highest count is actually due to like somebody's parents dying and like the money you get from that, and like one family member wanting that person's money. And so they like get in a debate over that. I forget what that's called. The money you get from like a parent dying, I think is the most common one.
To eliminate the ex, Devin wanted to get rid of her and her entire family. The breakup had gone wrong.
Sorry,
in early
inheritance,
2008,
thank you. Inheritance.
20-year-old Devin and his girlfriend were going through a rough breakup. With a 3-year-old daughter also in the picture, the two splitting made their situation even more difficult. And out of the two of them, Devin wasn't going to be the one to get custody. But instead of moving on or trying to get custody in court, he decided to seek out the help of a hitman through Rent-A-Hitman. He wanted to eliminate his ex-girlfriend once and for all and guarantee that he would be the one to take care of the child.
Yeah, that's how it works. Well, I guess since the mother is suddenly gone, we have no reason to suspect you for it, so here you go.
That wasn't enough. He didn't just submit her as a target. He sent in the information of both her parents as well, in hopes of getting rid of all 3 of them. So on February 3rd, 2018, Devin's requests were finally heard after Bob forwarded his messages to the August County Sheriff's Office. The deputy then disguised himself as a hitman and began communicating with the 20-year-old. In their conversations, Devin revealed his motive for putting a hit on 3 people, saying that he could be a good father to the girl, but his ex and her family were getting in the way. But
he could be a good person, but he has to get rid of anybody who disagrees with him being a good person.
Although Devin wanted more than ever to have this job completed, nothing came of it because he was struggling to come up with money for the service.
A little excessive, yes, but this is literally crazy, deranged people. This is people using logic, like... None of this is logical, okay? They think it is, though.
Meant that money wasn't exchanged between Devin and the deputy leading
Yeah,
up
I'm
to
a good person, I swear. If I just move these 3 people, if I just isekai these 3, we'll be good to go.
the arrest. To the officer, it seemed like Devin had simply gotten cold feet and no longer wanted to go through with it. But that didn't pardon his original intentions. And on February 12th, 2018, Devin was arrested on 3 counts of solicitation to commit first degree. Although Devin wanted to rent a hitman to take care of a young child, some people try to use the service for the very opposite reason.
I just think people are hilarious. Like, you guys have to realize people like this are not, there's no logical reasoning, right? In my opinion, this person would have done the same exact thing, regardless of whether, you know, it's not even because he feels entitled to the child. It's like, this guy is unwell. If he lived in another universe with a whole different life, he probably would try to do the same stuff, right? Like, he's just kind of messed up.
The mom who solicited against her
Is
son.
the opposite of hitman a doctor? I guess.
In 2023, Jasmine Paez did pretty much the worst thing a mother could do by requesting services for her own son. Jasmine, who was only 18 years old at the time, felt like this was the only thing that she could do to preserve her great love story, and that this was a worthy sacrifice to keep her boyfriend by her side. Jasmine, who lived in
Whoa!
Miami-Dade County at the time, was dating an 18-year-old named Gamaliel Souza. The two had been on and off for ages, with one thing always causing the two to break up, or rather, one person, Jasmine's son. Gamaliel told Jasmine time and time again that he did not like her child, even claiming that he was getting in the way of their relationship. He disliked the kid so much that he would openly encourage her to get rid of him by any means necessary.
Wow.
He allegedly
Good thing this dummy got locked up.
He said, "The kid is the problem. I hope you see that. All I ever wanted was to free you." Their most recent breakup was the final straw. Gamaliel had enough and decided that unless she took care of the job, he wasn't coming back. "You do it, and I'll think about coming back," he allegedly said in messages to Jasmine. Jasmine, desperate to keep him by her side,
Just be
tried
glad these people are dumb and they incarcerated themselves just because a website just existed hanging out there.
to please him by lying and saying that her son was already out of the picture. But when Gamaliel asked for proof, she couldn't provide that. So unable to give him the evidence he wanted, Jasmine decided that all that was left to do was to actually get the job done for real this time. This is why she went on Rent a Hitman, hoping that she and Gamaliel could finally live happily ever after together. In her initial request,
They about to be in the same jail cell for happily ever after.
Jasmine stressed this was important and she had a time constraint. She needed the job to be done by Thursday, only giving the supposed hitman a few days to complete the hit. Bob contacted the authorities immediately because Bob was worried that if he didn't reply, she would find another way to get what she wanted. And if she did that, there was no way he could stop her. Bob immediately contacted the Miami-Dade Police Department after verifying all of Jasmine's information. He gave them her name, associated email addresses, and all the corresponding messages that she sent to the Rent a Hitman site. But instead of doing something about it, the Miami-Dade police decided...
Like, these people are unwell, and I don't know. I'm not saying that they're always easy to catch. I don't know, but I wouldn't assume that, like, thousands of them are geniuses either.
Not to help. They redirected Bob to Crime Stoppers instead, but Bob persisted, knowing that there was a child in danger out there, and the time was running out to save him. It took several attempts for the Miami Police Department to hear him out.
This website is actually called Rent a Hitman, yes. That is the actual name of the website. Like, unironically, it is the name of the website.
Threatened to send him a cease and desist letter before they took action, but thankfully they got to it in time. Jasmine Paez was arrested for charges of first-degree solicitation and third-degree using a communications device for unlawful use. Shortly afterward, her ex-boyfriend Gamaliel Souza was also arrested due to how much he pressured Jasmine into doing this. He was charged as well. My friends, don't let temporary emotions lead to permanent consequences. Visual venture. Thanks a ton to War Thunder. Play it for free on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox now by using my link below. New and returning players that haven't played in 6 months across all platforms will get a massive bonus pack. Wait, before you go, click this playlist to watch more videos about the dark side of internet culture, because it would mean the absolute world to me. I love you guys. Peace.
Yeah, that was a really interesting video. I know that it was a little bit darker of a topic, but it's just impressive, okay? That, like, literally they had a funny like meme joke of a website basically that they bought, and they made it Rent a Hitman as like a silly like stupid thing they thought nobody would fall for, and it was just meant to be like a play on words and a pun. And then it actually was used legally to like save people's lives. I feel like that's impressive. That is so impressive and a big W. Like, talk about karma, talk about getting baited, talk about, like, a meme being used in the best way possible. That's why I wanted to show you guys. I know it's a little bit darker of a topic. I don't always go into stuff like this, but I felt like this had a good outcome, and it was just, yeah, like, I just think it's neat, alright?